Ruby, hook please. Yes! Good girl! Good girl! Hello. Right, I'm hoping you're gonna hold. Right, okay. So today is Words of Wisdom Wednesday, and I found it really hard to actually find a topic that is a current event to kind of put my thoughts and opinions on. So I'm still going to do what I was going to do, which is like giving you guys advice. So I've picked out 5 at random, and these are ones that I actually think I could give really pretty good advice on. I'm probably going to end up just doing like 5 to 10 of these a week instead of actually talking on a current event, unless there's a particular current event that I'm really interested in talking about. So, first one. I keep telling my flatmate to take the keys out of the door after he locks up, but he never does, and I end up locked out of the house for hours at a time. How can I break into my own home? I'm assuming you mean without actually like breaking windows and smashing the door down. So, oddly enough, there is a perfect little story for me to tell you. It's not my story, it's actually Con's, but it's an ingenious story. So, when they were up in Edinburgh doing the Fringe, the landlady had had a couple of drinks and fallen asleep but left the keys in the door. And obviously that meant they were locked out. Even though they had their own keys, they were still locked out. So they were ringing around everyone trying to like find somewhere to go for the night. And while sat in the car after trying all of their resources and failing, Con came up with a brilliant idea of taking some duct tape and some flyers that they've been collecting, because obviously they were at the Fringe, so there was a lot of flyers, and they made a hook kind of thing, and they've called it Hook-A-Duct, as in like Hook-A-Duct tape. And they made this hook thing, and they put it through the letterbox and managed to get the keys out of the door. They are ingenious. And then managed to actually get in. So I would recommend doing that if you've got some duct tape and some flyers. If not, I really can't help you, because that's literally the only thing I'd do. Without biotechnicalities breaking and entering. Okay, next one. What do I do if I'm not in love with my girlfriend, but I don't want to hurt her? In all fairness, the easiest thing you could do is just be honest with her. If you're not happy in your relationship, you shouldn't be in your relationship, in my eyes. If you feel that in any way you can do better, then I get that. But at the end of the day, a relationship is worth working on. But however, if you're not in love with her, as you've said, then I would recommend you just come out and you tell her, make sure she's had food, make sure she's had plenty of sleep, because without food and without sleep, she will be complete and totally dead. Like, she will be groggy, she will be angry or hangry, and yeah, I don't like arguing when I'm tired and or hungry. So I would recommend making sure that she's had food and sleep, and not get her like a nice little gift to say, look, it's not your fault, I'm just not in love with you and I don't want to hurt you. She will scream and shout at you beyond belief, but stay calm, don't start screaming back at her. Just stay calm, allow her to rant, because she's going to be angry, because she's not going to know why, and unless you have a reason why, then tell her the reason why. But she's probably going to scream and shout. And once she's done screaming and shouting, end on good terms. Always end on good terms. I hate it with my past relationship where I've ended on bad terms, because I always think if something happens to them, I'm going to be really upset. So I don't like ending on bad terms. Wouldn't recommend it. So yeah, just be honest, make sure she's had food and sleep, and I don't know, get her some flowers or chocolates or something. Just kind of like as a parting gift. Next one. My friend is flirting with my new boyfriend, what can I do about it? Tell them to back off. Tell them to back off. You need to kind of establish with this friend that they are your boyfriend. And harmless flirting is fine. Harmless flirting goes on every single day. Between best friends, between boyfriend, girlfriend, between your girlfriend's best friend and you, and your boyfriend's best friend and you. It always happens. Flirting is totally normal. However, if they start taking it too far and start to get a bit handsy and try to like make a move or something, then tell them to back off. Otherwise, they're going to think that it's totally fine for them to do that. They're not kind of going to learn a boundary. So to them, it might be completely normal to be very, very flirty. And I know a fair few flirty people, and it's never really bothered me, because I know that they're actually flirty people. But when it's non-flirty people flirting, then that starts to bother me. So it depends if they're a flirty person in general, or just a flirty person around your boyfriend. So see where that is, tell them to back off. If they don't back off, seriously reconsider your friendship, because if they're not backing off on your kind of boyfriend, then they've clearly got no respect for you. So tell them to back off. If they don't back off, reevaluate everything and see where it goes from there. Next one. How do I go about training my cat? I've seen yours jumping, waving, high fives, etc. Is it possible for you to do a tutorial on it? Possibly. I could do a tutorial on it. Ruby, who's my eldest, who's currently sat there, does a lot of tricks, and I'm assuming that she's the one you're on about because she's the only one who jumps. Basically, see what motivates your cat. If it's food, whether it's toys, affections, just really anything that you find motivates your cat, kind of try and use that. She is a heavily food motivated cat, and we kind of use certain foods for certain things, like the less rewarding foods like chicken. She kind of just has, you know, as a reward for high fives and sitting and stuff like that. And for the bigger rewards, like for example waving and sitting pretty, we tend to use these weird stick things, and they come in all sorts of different flavours. She's not bothered about the flavour, she is literally just bothered that it's a stick. And she can eat them like noodles, I swear to God. But they're about this long, and she goes crazy for them. And you can get them out of literally any kind of big kind of supermarket area, Tesco's, Co-op, Morrison's, Sainsbury's, anywhere like that kind of thing. I think you can get some in corner shops. I'm not too sure on that though. And they're about 6 in a packet. And they're like in individual wrapped things. They're really, really good. So we use them for the higher things like waving and, you know, sitting pretty. And then for the bigger things like jumping and touching things on command, we use this Sheba stuff. It comes like in a little tray. And what we do is we just mush that up, and when she's done something right, we kind of let her have about 2 seconds of licking and eating, and then take it away from her, and she really is driven by that a heavy lot. Like heavy loads from it. So yeah. How I would go about starting training, I started training animals in general, probably through Buddy, who's my youngest cat. I started training her literally 6 weeks old. I started training her because we had her from newborn, because obviously Sneaky's a mum, and we had her from newborn, so I started training her from that age. I started to train her to do little things like touching things with her nose, high fives, stuff like that, just little tiny things. But the first thing that I taught Ruby, and Ruby's my most trained, is definitely sit. You get whatever motivates them, you bring it above their head, they will look up at it, their backsides naturally go down, you reward straight away. I do recommend clicker training, or having a command that says, yes, you're doing what I want. I just use yes and good. And it just kind of goes on from there. I will do a tutorial for you. I'll have to find a new trick of sorts for her to learn. We're running out of tricks now to do. But yeah, that's probably where I'd go from. I'd first of all see what motivates them and what motivates them most out of their motivation. Like, she's more motivated by Sheba than any other food. So find your motivation, and then the strongest motivation, and then the weakest motivation, to kind of have a difference. And then start off by training the sit, and then you can kind of work from there and just kind of find what makes what happen with your cat with the motivations. That's where we've learnt with Rue. Okay, last one. I've just gotten into a relationship and I'm meeting their parents this weekend. Yeah, this was dated for yesterday, so it's definitely this weekend. How do I get them to like me? Be yourself. If they don't like you for who they are, don't be fake. Well, if they don't like you for who you are, don't be fake. If you are fake, eventually your true colours are going to start to show, and they're going to have to get to know you all over again. They're going to think that you're being two-faced. They're going to think that you're lying. Don't do it. When it comes to in-laws, for me, I'm a bit touch and go, because I really, really do. Obviously, everyone wants their in-laws to like them, or rather future in-laws to like them. So you do make a bit more effort. And I do recommend make a little bit of an effort. For example, with near enough all of my in-laws that I've ever met, I've always, Christmas, birthdays, anything like that. I think I've done Mother's Day before, and Father's Day. I also always make sure I look nice and I look presentable, because that way it shows that you do care about how you look and you've got self-pride, but you're not over and just full of yourself. Even though a lot of the times a lot of people are full of themselves when they dress up nicely. But if you dress up nicely, it just shows that you kind of have a pride in your appearance, and a lot of the times a lot of people do respect that. So be yourself, and if they don't like you for who you are, then is it really actually worth it? So, I mean, fair enough, there's been some times with past mother-in-laws for me, it's mainly mother-in-laws, or rather, past ex-future mother-in-laws, there we go. Where we've actually not gotten on at first, and then had a kind of really good relationship. There is a couple of mother-in-laws that, occasionally will still pop up to me and just ask how I am. And they tend to be the ones that I really didn't get along with at the start. So, I mean, if you don't get along now, it's alright, because it can actually it can build up from nothing. I mean, a lot of the times they're not gonna jump straight in. If you didn't specify male or female, so, if you're a dude and you're going out with a girl, shake the father's hand. It's a sign of respect, and also shake the mother's hand. In fact, do you know what, right? Just shake the hand, whether you're a male, female, dating a guy or a girl, right? Shake the parents' hands, okay? Do it. Or at least offer some kind of physical contact, because that just shows that you're very open. It shows you're open and that you respect them. I mean, don't go in and fist bump them, no. Handshake or a cuddle or whatever. Or even a kiss on the cheek. But just don't go in fist bumping them no. Just be respectful, but still be yourself. If you can't respect yourself, they're not going to respect you. And if you don't respect them, they are not going to see you in any kind of a decent light at all. So, respectful, be yourself, have respect for yourself, have respect for them, respect your appearance, and respect what rules, boundaries and limitations that they lay down. Believe me, I've been on the receiving end of not respecting them rules, boundaries and limitations, and I regretted it heavily. So, that's it, everyone. That is my first Words of Wisdom Wednesday, and it's out of the way. Thank God. This is actually being filmed. on Wednesday. So it's very weird for me to actually film a video and actually put it up the day it's meant to be up and film it on that day as well. It's very, very weird. But I hope that all of the advice I'm given is somewhat helpful. If it's not, tell me why. And yeah, I think we're good. Also, for the training cat thing, please pop up to me. You know exactly who you are. Please pop up to me. I will let you know if I can do a tutorial. I am thinking about doing a second video on a Saturday, as my Saturday videos are going to be my shortest. So I'm thinking about doing a second video. So yeah, have fun.